Hello students, welcome to my channel Bala's English Today. I'm really happy to meet you all through this channel after a long time. In this class, I'm going to teach you about Bloom's taxonomy. Let's learn about Bloom's taxonomy. What is Bloom's taxonomy? It is actually a model that describes the cognitive process of learning and developing mastery of subjects. What is cognitive process? Cognitive process is actually the thinking, learning and understanding. The model is named after Benjamin Bloom, the man who headed up the original committee of researchers and educators who developed the original taxonomy. Okay, now Bloom's taxonomy in simple words, if I have to know, the classification system is to define and distinguish different levels of human cognition. As I already told you, thinking, learning and understanding. It is actually used by the educators, the teachers. Okay, so while taking up this Bloom's taxonomy, why is it important in teaching learning process? How the teacher has to set the question paper or to make the students understand the concept is based on this Bloom's taxonomy. Now certain terminology you have to know while understanding the Bloom's taxonomy. Now the first one what we are going to learn is OBE. OBE is outcome based learning. It enables the teachers or the faculty to first set out and prioritize the goal. That is what the student needs to learn or needs to understand, and what is the outcome the teacher is expecting from the students after she or he teaches the lesson. Okay, now so the teacher has to set a goal first, then she has to decide the teaching methods that would help to reach the end results. Okay, now in our daily life also, what we do, we will set a goal first and we will take steps towards the goal because it gives us a direction. So suppose you are going to, for example, you want to go for a shop. So first, that's your goal, to purchase something in the shop. Then next is the steps. So how far it is, so whether to take a car or to take a cycle or to walk and go. So this is different methods you use to reach that place. Okay, so like that the teacher first prioritizes her goals, then she'll take different methods of teaching to make the students understand and get the right outcome based result, and then compare the final output, what she has reached from the students and the expected goal. The teacher expected certain outcome from the student after teaching the lesson, and then she compares after teaching whether the student is able to reach the outcome expected by the teacher, and that is called outcome based learning rather. Now next term what we have to understand is course outcomes. What is course outcomes? Now you have a curriculum set. Okay, you have a curriculum, you have different subjects in your classes, mathematics, English, so and so forth. Okay, so course outcome is the knowledge and skills acquired through this course. That means you gain certain knowledge and certain skills after learning the subjects. So the course outcomes. So how did the course help you to get knowledge and skills? That's called course outcome. And now what is program outcome? Program. Now this is actually what I am teaching is mainly program is we call it as a degree program. Now engineering program, you have undergraduate program. Okay, so these are the program, the whole course, the total course is understandable as program. Now B.Ed program, B.Tech program, M.Tech program, M.Ed program. So the name of the courses, total 2 years or 3 years, that we call it as a program. And program outcome, after completing the whole program, that is after completing B.Tech, what you are expected to get out of it, that is outcomes of this certain program. Now course outcome, what is the difference between course outcome and program outcome? course outcome is the knowledge and skill you acquire after what particular course. Maybe a subject, okay, you are able to understand one subject, two subject, that courses. Okay. Now program is the total program, BTech program, MTech program, or MA, BTech, B.Ed, something like that. And now the next term what we have to learn is program educational objectives. Now these are the broader objectives. Program outcomes is what you have to develop or what outcomes you get after completing the program. And program education objectives is long term. It's a broader objectives, maybe after 3 to 4 years of completion of your BTech course, what is expected. Now you settle down in a good company, you may be, you are a HR of the company after 3 to 4 years after completing your BTech. What is expected of the student? Okay, this is called program educational objectives. And the last term what we have to learn in this standard terminology is program specific outcomes. Now the word specific itself, it tells us about a certain program you have to acquire. Suppose in BTech itself you have different branches, okay, ECE, CSC. So after completing a particular program, okay, that is ECE, BTech only, all the programs, but in that specifically you are doing something, that is CSC branches. Okay, so you have to get certain outcomes after completing the particular specific course, that is program specific outcomes. Okay, so we have learnt what is OBE, that is outcome based learning, and course outcomes, program outcomes, program educational objectives, and program specific outcomes. So now let's learn about POs. PO means, what we have learned about PO is program outcome. After completing the program, what are the outcomes expected? Okay, so you are an engineering student, for example, and the AICTE itself, they have framed 12 program outcomes which are common to all the engineering graduates. The first PO1 is applied knowledge of mathematics, science and engineering in solving the problems of electronics and communication engineering. Now next PO is analyze problems related to electronics and communication engineering field. Third PO is design systems and develop solutions for problems in the field of electronics communication engineering. Now the fourth PO is identify, formulate and solve complex engineering systems. The fifth PO is employ modern tools for improving efficiency. And the sixth PO is understand the impact of engineering solutions in social context. The seventh PO is propose environmentally sustainable solutions. The eighth PO is understand professional and ethical responsibility. Now ninth is function as an individual and in a team. Now the 10th PO is communicate effectively. The 11th PO is apply the knowledge of financial management and project management. The last one is, that is the 12th one, engage in lifelong learning. So these are the 12 POs designed by AICTE for engineering graduates. Okay. Now all the POs may not be mapped with the COs, that is you have certain course outcomes. So program outcomes and course outcomes we have to map for certain course. Okay, for example you take English. So I have 5 course outcomes. All the 5 course outcomes, from each unit I would have had one CO. Okay, so it may not map with all the 12. So all the 12 program outcomes may not map with my COs of a particular course. Okay, now for example I have taken English. Now let's see the next slide, you understand better. Now what is CO-PO mapping? I just explained to you. It's creating a link between the course outcomes and program outcomes. For each lesson and assessment is called COPO mapping. So for each lesson, okay, and assessment, okay, assessment, what we assess the students, mid exams or your internal exams, assignments, for all that marks you take, you have the assessment. So for each lesson and assessment, you have to map with the POs. So creating a link between course outcomes and program outcomes for each lesson and assessment is called COPO mapping. It helps to encourage and apply outcome-based education in the schools and colleges for attaining a futuristic approach towards education along with improved learning outcomes. Now, as I told you, I would like to give you an example of course outcomes. Now, for example, I have chosen the subject English, and in the English, which is prescribed for the engineering students first year, that is first year first sem students. Now you have 5 outcomes, you have 5 units. From each unit I have picked up one course outcome. That is the first lesson, understand social and transactional dialogues spoken by native speakers of English and identify the context, topic and pieces of specific information. In the first lesson we have this as a CO, that is course outcome. I think you know the first lesson, the drawer full of happiness. From that, it is also designed by AICTU, so they have given this as course outcome. After learning that lesson, what you are expected to know. And the second lesson, from the second unit, you have to recall the familiar topics and general questions to the students. Okay, we have to recall the familiar topics. Now the second unit talks about Nehru, okay, a letter to his daughter, and from that unit you have to recall the familiar topics and general questions. We have to ask the students and they should be able to explain that. This is what the second CO says. The third CO says rephrase suitable strategies for note making to locate specific information. So rephrase suitable strategies. How do you strategize for note making to locate specific information? How you are having the skill of note making to recollect specific information. And the fourth unit, identify the paragraph structure. So the fourth unit talks about how to write a paragraph, how to beginning, ending, in between, how to frame. A student is expected to learn. After learning this is the outcome. Okay, the fourth unit says. The fifth unit, if you take the fifth unit, make use of grammatical structure and correct word forms. So you should be able to make correct grammatical sentences and word formation. That is the fifth one. Okay, now let's go for COPO mapping. Now all the 5 course outcomes, I have written it on the left hand side. You can see C111.1 and all the 12 whatever we have learned. You know, for example, 10th one is about communication. All that I have mapped it. I have written it on the horizontal way. Now you see. Now the first one, just learn. Now first unit about the social and all that you have learned. You can go to the back slide and see what is okay. Now you have the POs. Now the first one says okay, now let's go to the COPO mapping. Now 8th one, the first CO is mapped with 8th PO. Now what is first, now 8th PO is understand professional and ethical responsibility. That's what PO 8. And now let's see CO1. Understand social and transactional dialogues spoken by native speakers. Now see, in order to move in the society and you have to transact the dialogues between, you know, you have to understand what they speak, and you also should have the mutual communication, and you should know, you know, the context, topic, pieces of information. For that, what are the mapping we have done? See, 8th PO, 9th PO, 10th PO. 8, 9, 10. Let's see first 8, 9, 10. 8 PO, understand professional ethical responsibility. 9, function as an individual and in a team. 10th, communicate effectively. So these 3 POs map with my first CO. So that is why I have given this mapping here. See, first CO C111.1 is mapping with PO8, PO9 and PO10. Now the second one also maps with PO8, PO10 and PO12. Now already we have seen 8 and 10. Now let's look for PO12. What is PO12? PO12 is engage in lifelong learning. Why it says about lifelong learning? What is my second CO is recall the familiar topics and general questions to the students. So whatever you learn, it's a lifelong learning, and always suppose you learn a language and it's mainly for communication. It is throughout your life you have to understand. Suppose you go abroad, you're here, some native speakers language you have to understand, and it is a lifelong process. It's not going to just get over with that. Okay, that is why it is also mapped with PO12, lifelong learning. And communication, it is mapping with all the POs. That is, all the COs are mapping with PO10, and PO10 is communication. And as you know that English is mainly for communication. So these are the general idea. I think you got it about CO-PO mapping. This is how you have to do. You have to check your CO and you have to check with PO. You have to map which one it is going to do. Okay, now let's come to the main topic of Bloom's taxonomy. How it is going to help us in understanding the lessons and how it is going to give us the right output. Okay, now we have this funnel. Okay, now already we understood Bloom's has formulated this to help the teachers to make the students understand and help them to reach the highest level. Now see, for example, the first one here is remember, and remembering is the lowest given level, and next level is understanding. Then you have to apply, analyze, evaluate and create. For example, if I show you a fruit, apple, you see that I said this is an apple, you just remember it. Other than that, you don't see anything about that, you just remember. Okay, when I say apple, you try to remember, oh, it's a apple, it's a fruit, that's all. More than that you don't. Next one is, the next level is understand. Understanding means it is a fruit. I teach you this is apple. The first level you just learned this is something which is called apple. Next level is understand, it is a fruit, it is good for our health. Okay, you do that. Then you apply. So apply, I am talking about a simple thing like apple. It is not so easy to apply to your lessons. Okay, now to make you understand, I am giving you. Now where do you apply? So this I told you as a fruit. How? You are applying, okay, this is a fruit, so it is an eatable thing. So you are applying your knowledge there. And analyze. Then what is analysis? You are analyzing. And suppose if I eat this fruit, is it good for my health or it's going to do anything harm to me? You are starting analyzing. Then you are evaluating. Evaluation means you are judging whether it is. Now here analyzing means you are just trying to justify whether it is good or bad. And evaluating, you are coming to a conclusion. Okay, you have got a judgment. This is what evaluation is. Okay, so you understand this is a fruit which is good, and also it will do no harm. In fact, it's going to do good for you. That is evaluation. Now create. Now with this fruit called apple, you need not just like that eat. You can also create different recipes with the apple. Like for example, fruit salad you can make, and with apple juice you can make. Okay, you can also make it into small pieces with other dishes, with other dry fruits also you can mix it and eat. So this is called creation. So you may be thinking why madam is talking about such a simple thing like apple, because if I give you certain examples like this, you will understand. First, anyone, if you say, you don't deeply go into that, you just remember this is what is happening at the lower level. Now, for example, you take the students, maybe a 4th standard, 5th standard students, they'll remember, that's all. Okay, she's my teacher. Okay, something like that. They remember when the teacher shows them, this is what this is called as apple, this is a rubber, this is pencil, this is a board. They just remember, that's all. More than that, they don't know anything about it. Next level, they'll understand, oh, this is black in color, so this is a board. Like that, the cognitive level increases. Then they apply the knowledge, okay. Then they analyze why it is like that, why it is black. If it is black only, I can write it on the board, something. Then they evaluate, they judge, oh, this is a good board and that board is not good because it is not writing smoothly. This is analysis. Then creation, they create. If I write it on the board, only blackboard, why can't I write it? Something like that. Evaluate, you are creating something new out of it, and that is what create. So the highest level what Bloom has given is for creativity. Okay. Now see, in this we have understood remembering is the lowest level. You have certain words. You can use this while setting your question paper for the students, and these words are mostly used. See, list, memorize. You can start questions with that list. So they remember. List any 5 items you use in your daily life. Okay, brush, comb or something like that. Then memorize. You just by heart something, memorize. You memorize a poem. So usually it is in the nursery rhymes and all, memorizing. And you relate, show, locate, distinguish, give example, reproduce, quote, repeat, label, recall. All these words you can use while setting the question paper for the level, the lowest level, that is remembering. Okay, and the next level is understanding. So here the learner grabs the meaning of the information by interpreting and translating what has been learned. So the verbs what mostly we use for understanding is restate, identify, discuss, retell, research, annotate, translate, give examples, paraphrase. All these words are used for understanding too. Prepare a questions on understanding level. Next, I told you, first one remembering, then understanding, the third one is applying. So now whatever information you learned and you understood and whatever you are remembering, you are trying to apply it. Okay, the learner makes use of information in a context different from the one in which it was learned. The verbs which are used is translate, manipulate, exhibit, illustrate, calculate, interpret, make, practice, apply, operate, interview. All these are for application. Okay, you can set a question paper. You wanted to give the application verbs. And the next one, analyzing. So here the learner breaks informed information into its parts to best understand the information. So the verbs commonly used for analysis is distinguish. So you should know the difference between your analyzing, question, apprise, experiment, inspect, examine, probe, separate, inquire, arrange, investigate, sift, research, calculate, criticize. So the next level is evaluate. Okay, the learner makes decisions based on in-depth reflection, criticism and assessment. The verbs are judge, rate, validate, predict, assess, score, revise, okay, infer, determine, tell me why, compare, evaluate, defend. All these verbs are used for evaluation. So next one, the last one is creating. So I told you this is the highest level given in the Bloom's taxonomy. In short, we call Bloom's taxonomy as BT level. Okay, so here the learner creates new ideas and information using what has been previously learned. You create something new with whatever you have already learned. Okay, the verbs used to frame the questions for the teachers are compose, assemble, organize, invent, compile, forecast, devise, propose, construct, plan, prepare, develop, originate, imagine, generate. So all these questions for creation. So this is what actually the Bloom's taxonomy tells us, and hope you understood the lesson well. It's a very useful lesson both for the teachers and the students. So the students also can understand their levels of learning, and the teachers also improve the students applying this Bloom's taxonomy from remembering level to the creating level. It is the duty of the teachers to help the students to reach to the highest level of learning. So this is actually a very good method for teaching learning process, and hope all the teachers enjoy this lesson and they apply it for the students, and students also understand this and try to analyze your level where you are, whether you are still in the remembering stage or you have understood the lesson, or application, evaluation, and last creating. So BTech students especially, you should be creative and you have the project work, because to encourage you for creation, the last level of knowledge. So this is the cognitive skills developed by Bloom's taxonomy. That is, it is the way how we develop our knowledge, skills, and understanding. Okay, thank you students for your listening to this video, and suppose if you like this video, please subscribe it and also share it to your friends. Okay, thank you.